I said something that irritated the shit out of Kobe fans, even though I'm a Kobe fan, right? I said something that irritated, but that is a metrics. When I said 3 of his championships, he was a sidekick. And everybody's like, oh, he was never a sidekick. He was only 21, 22, and 23. Those championships. Shaq was the dominant force.
Gilbert Arenas just lit a fire across the NBA world. On his show, the former All-Star made a bold claim, saying Kobe Bryant was nothing more than a sidekick to Shaquille O'Neal during the Lakers' first 3 championship runs. This wasn't a throwaway remark. It came across as a direct hit at Kobe's legacy, and fans everywhere are sounding off.
Every Superman won when they got the perfect partner. When they got the perfect partner, that's when they won.
The reaction has been intense, with Kobe Bryant supporters, ranging from former teammates to loyal fans and analysts, rushing to defend his legacy. But Gilbert Arenas isn't backing off. Instead, he's standing firm and even doubling down on his statement, keeping the debate alive and fiery. Speaking on Gil's Arena, Arenas admitted his comments struck a nerve with Kobe fans, even though he considers himself one of them. He pointed out that during 3 of Kobe's championship runs, the Lakers were led by a young Kobe, just 21 to 23 years old, while Shaquille O'Neal was the team's dominant presence. According to Arenas, in those years, Kobe played more of a supporting role, a take that many fans strongly reject.
He was only 21, 22, and 23. Those championships. Shaq was the dominant force.
But Arenas didn't leave it at that. He went further, saying Kobe was often viewed as a sidekick, more like Robin or even the next Scottie Pippen, rather than being celebrated as a 3-time champion in his own right. That Pippen comparison, however, is what really set people off and turned the debate into a heated battle.
It's like Scottie Pippen was Scottie Pippen. No, if he scored 28 points and Jordan scored 30, we still know who's number 1 and number 2. We still know who's doing the heavy lifting.
In short, the former Wizard star is suggesting that Kobe's first 3 titles carry less weight because he wasn't the number 1 option on those squads. But that's where his argument begins to crack. Since when does youth take away from a player's role in winning championships?
But we know we know who Robin is in this instance, right? So his 5 rings is still Robin rings.
That's the opinion.
But I know
that's the opinion.
I'm about to say
So let's take a closer look at what this so-called sidekick really did during those championship runs. In the 2000 finals against Indiana, when Shaq went down with an injury, it was Kobe who stepped up. He averaged 25 points per game and completely took control when the team needed him most.
The opening kick, and here is Kobe Bryant. And there is the first field goal.
And then came the 2001 playoffs, where Kobe's performance left no doubt about his status. He averaged 29.4 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game. Those aren't sidekick numbers, they're superstar numbers. Yet, Arenas brushes past these facts to keep his argument alive.
Bryant able to beat him off the dribble, and rejected.
That's the play of the game defensively. Kobe Bryant, all-league defense, comes in from behind.
Fast forward to the 2002 Western Conference Finals against Sacramento, Kobe was simply unstoppable. In a brutal 7-game battle, he averaged more than 26 points per game and carried the Lakers through the fire. Sidekicks don't put teams on their backs like that.
In Los Angeles,
Kobe up against Wade. They clear it out. He'll go past Wade. The follow-away. All even!
Gilbert Arenas argues that the sidekick label was nothing more than media sabotage, designed to protect Michael Jordan's legacy from Kobe's rapid rise. It's an intriguing point, but also a contradictory one. On one hand, Arenas says the media unfairly framed Kobe as Robin to Shaq's Batman. On the other, he repeats that same narrative himself. What many forget is that while Kobe was winning titles alongside Shaq, he often faced disrespect and was overshadowed by the sidekick label. But history tells the full story. Kobe eventually silenced all doubt by winning 2 more championships without O'Neal, this time as the undeniable leader of the Lakers.
So if you were a superhero, what would you be? Who would you be?
Batman.
So then is Pal your Robin?
No, Pal something else.
So which one is it, Gil? Was the sidekick label just media spin, or was it actually true? You can't have it both ways. Ron Harper, who shared the court with both Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal at the end of his career, certainly doesn't buy into the idea that Kobe ever played second fiddle.
Rest in peace to my boy Kobe, man. He probably as closer as anyone else to ever gonna be competing with MJ. He was a very complete competitor. He patterned his game, walk and talk like MJ and be like MJ.
Harper had the rare experience of playing alongside both Kobe and Shaq, giving him a first-hand look at how their partnership really worked. His perspective carries far more weight than outside speculation. Former teammates know the truth about who did what during those title runs. And the fact that players who were actually in the locker room reject the Sidekick narrative speaks volumes about its accuracy.
I say all the time, my opinion is Mike and then it's Kobe.
Who do you think is like similar to Kobe now?
Nobody, stop it.
Well, I mean, like you got Kyrie and Devin Booker.
Stop it.
Fans didn't hold back either. One sports enthusiast fired back, saying, "No surprise. When losers talk, they try to bring down winners." Another fan went straight at Arenas, writing, "Arenas just gets more and more disrespectful about Kobe as time goes on. You wanted to be that guy, bro. It's cool." The backlash has been fierce, with many questioning Arenas' motives and pointing out the irony of a player who never won a championship criticizing how legends earned theirs. The comparison to Scottie Pippen especially stung for fans, because it suggested Kobe was never the primary option, even in his prime. And the pushback hasn't just come from fans. Kobe's wife, Vanessa Bryant, and former teammate Matt Barnes also stepped in to defend his legacy. When family and close teammates speak out, it's clear the controversy has gone far beyond casual debate.
People don't know this, but one of the reasons my husband played through injuries and pain was because he said he remembered being a little kid, sitting in the nosebleeds with his dad to watch his favorite player play. I remember asking him why he couldn't just sit a game out because he was hurting. He said,
Doesn't matter if I'm sick. It doesn't matter if I have a sprained ankle. The kid that's sitting in there might be the next me sitting up there, watching and trying to get inspiration from that. I need to go out there and play.
Kobe didn't want to disappoint his fans, especially the ones in the 300 sections that saved up to watch him play. He never forgot about his fans. If he could help it, he would play every minute of every game. He loved you all so much.
Vanessa Bryant almost never responds to criticism of her late husband's legacy, so when she does, it carries weight. Her decision to speak out shows just how deeply these remarks have cut, not only for the Bryant family but for fans who continue to defend Kobe's name. Matt Barnes stepping in only strengthens the case. Having played alongside and against some of the game's greatest, his voice brings credibility that outsiders can't match. Arenas tried to bolster his argument by pointing to Dwayne Wade's 2006 championship run, saying Wade proved a young star could be the number one option. But under closer look, the comparison doesn't hold. Wade was 24 at the time, while Kobe's first titles came at just 21 to 23 years old. The circumstances and teammates were also entirely different. In fact, instead of weakening Kobe's case, the Wade comparison highlights just how remarkable Kobe's contributions were at an even younger age.
Iverson said he had Kobe at 2, and Stephen A. challenged that. What makes Kobe special in players' mind, in a player's mind himself? We don't go by your stats. We don't go by the accolades. We go by how the person played, what was his attributes, right? So when you think about the greatest players of all time, 80% of them have God gift, natural talent, ability, body. Jordan, 48-inch vertical. You got the big hand. You got LeBron, Shaquille O'Neal, then Magic 6'9" point guard with vision. Kobe, standard. If I give you every 6'6" guard in the NBA and NBA history, you would never find him. You would never find Kobe because he didn't have big hands. He wasn't quick. He wasn't fast. 38-inch vertical, that's standard. And what he did with that body, it's like you took a S500 and he was pushing it like a Bugatti. That's what we look at. We look at the normal person fighting gods.
Arenas made one point that sounded more reasonable: you're not winning without a perfect number 2. And he's right, every championship team needs multiple stars. But here's the flaw. There's a big difference between calling someone a perfect number 2 and labeling them a sidekick. A perfect number 2 is still a superstar, just not the primary option. Look at Kobe's run with Pau Gasol. Together, they won back-to-back titles, and Gasol was widely seen as Kobe's perfect number 2. Yet Arenas insists that when the roles were reversed, Kobe couldn't be Shaq's perfect number 2 without being diminished. The inconsistency in that argument says it all.
So now Pau Gasol is at the center position. Nice pick and roll between. Third rebound tonight. Playing with the sore throat, which has been a story here in Los Angeles. Yao now watches Bryant. Yao comes out on Gasol.
The biggest flaw in Arenas' argument is his own contradictions. He insists he's a Kobe fan, yet consistently downplays Kobe's accomplishments. He calls the sidekick label a product of media manipulation, then turns around and repeats that very narrative himself. At one point, after a long pause, he even said, "I'm confused at the delusion we're having in social media." But the irony is hard to ignore. Arenas criticizes social media for spreading false narratives, while at the same time creating one of his own about basketball history. That kind of contradiction makes his credibility shaky. And this isn't an isolated case. It fits a larger pattern of former players taking shots at Kobe's legacy.